Okay, I'll be explaining you the chapter of NCERT Geography, India, Size and Location. This is the first chapter. It is basically an introduction to your own country, which is India. So, in the first paragraph, they just said that India is a very ancient civilization. Okay, a very, very old culture, very old civilization. And over the 5 decades, a lot of years have passed, and there has been a very drastic progress in different fields of India, that is agriculture, economics, industry, technology. So there's a lot of technological advancements, economic developments in the different fields of India. Then we come to the location of India. India lies completely in the northern hemisphere, that is above the equator. Okay, that means it is lying between 8 degrees north and 37 and 6 minutes north. So it is lying completely in the northern hemisphere, and the longitudinal extent is 68 degrees 7 minutes east and 97 degrees 25 minutes east. So that means it lies completely in the northern hemisphere and the eastern hemisphere, as it is lying eastern side of the prime meridian. Now, the Tropic of Cancer, that is 23.5 degrees, passes from the center of India, dividing India into two equal halves. So that is why India is also called as a tropical country. The southernmost point of India is the Indra Point, which has now got submerged due to the tsunamis. The size of India, India is a huge country. It's also called a subcontinent because it is like a small continent. It is 3.28 million square kilometers. So it's a very huge country, and it's the seventh largest country of the world. Now it has got a very long border area, both land boundary as well as sea boundaries. The land boundaries is 15,200 kilometers, and the sea boundaries, including Andaman Nicobar as well as Lakshadweep, is 7,516 kilometers. So it has got both the land boundaries as well as the sea boundaries. So it has the advantages of land boundaries as well as sea boundaries. Now, in the north, we see, if you see the map of India, you will see that in the north we have the huge mountain ranges of the Himalayas. So they are the folded mountains. Why they are called folded mountains? Because they have been formed due to the pressure, the intense force that had been generated due to the collision of the Indian belt and the Eurasian belt. Okay. Now, if you come to the southern point of India, then you will see that the southern peninsula of India is a triangular shaped, and it divides the Indian Ocean into two halves, that is Arabian Sea on the west and Bay of Bengal in the east. So this is an overall description of the size and the location of India. Now we come to the latitudinal and longitudinal extent of India. Now, basically, Gujarat, if you see the map of India, Gujarat lies on 68 degrees 7 minutes east, and Arunachal Pradesh lies on 97 degrees 25 minutes east. So these are the westernmost and the easternmost extent of India. Between them, there are many longitudes, and each longitude, between one longitude, there is a difference or a gap of 4 minutes. So if you travel from 68 degrees to 97 degrees east, there will be a lot of gap. There is a gap of 2 hours. Why 2 hours? Because we are traveling from the prime meridian if you travel towards the east, and as we travel towards the east, we keep on adding the time. So for one longitude, we add 4 minutes. So for each longitude, if we keep on adding for 4 minutes, when we travel from 68 degrees to 97 degrees, there will be a gap of 2 hours. So if you consider each and every longitude as a standard meridian, then we have to change our timing in the watch, and we have to increase the timing. Okay, so if you travel from Gujarat to Arunachal Pradesh, you have to continuously change your time at the watch. So to avoid this kind of confusion, what has been done is that we have considered one longitude as a standard meridian of India, and this longitude is 82.5 degrees east, which passes from Mirzapur in Uttar Pradesh. Why? Because it is a center. If you calculate, if you see that basically 82.5 degrees is the central most longitude of India. So this is taken as a standard meridian, and whatever time that is there on the central meridian, that is taken for the entire country. So we do not have to change our time after crossing each and every longitude from Gujarat to Arunachal Pradesh. We have to set a time with the time of Mirzapur. So that is the standard meridian of India, standard meridian time of India. Now the latitudinal extent influences the duration of day and night as one moves from south to north. Okay, as we move from south to north, the day and night is also going to change. So if you come towards the equator, now equator is a region at 0 degree which receives direct rays of the sun. Okay, so here we have extremely high temperatures. Alright, and day and night is almost equal because equator is in the center. So it is receiving the direct ray. And as we are moving towards the northern hemisphere, above the equator, we see that there is a variation. Okay, it becomes cooler as we move towards the polar region. It becomes cooler. So when we travel from the equator towards the polar region, the temperature keeps on decreasing because the rays of the sun becomes more and more slanting. So from the equator, if you travel towards the north pole or the south pole, the solar radiations become more and more slanting, and they spread over a larger area, and thus they heat the region lesser in comparison to the equatorial region. Then we come to the relationship of India with the world. Now India is centrally located. Okay, it has got land boundaries as well as sea boundaries. So India is a southward extension of the Asian continent. So it lies in Asia, but it lies in the South Asia, and it is centrally located. It also has an advantage of Indian Ocean. So because Indian Ocean lies in the southern region of India, that is why India is connected to other countries of the western region of Europe and Africa, okay, as well as Australia. So we can easily reach these countries. If you see the sea routes of India, India can easily move to another country by means of its sea routes, by means of ships. Okay, so it can travel towards Europe with the help of ships. It can also cross the Suez Canal and reach other countries of the Mediterranean Sea. So India has got a very, very strong trade relations with various countries of the world over the years. Okay, so basically the Indian Ocean routes connect the countries of Europe in the west and the countries of the East Asia, provide a strategic central location to India. So strategically India is very, very important, and it has been exporting its spices to various countries of Europe and Asia and Africa through its sea routes as well as land routes. Okay, it has got advantage of both land boundaries as well as sea boundaries. So it has got a very close relationship with the Western Asian countries, Africa and European countries, to the Southeast Asian countries. All these countries are related or connected to India. So no other country has a long coastline as compared to India. India has got an advantage of the Indian Ocean. It has got a very eminent or very important position